Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 360. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, alongside Johnny V.
I'm awfully surprised you didn't have something clever to say with 360.
Yeah, about it being full circle, or
we've come full circle
all the way around. We've done all sorts of tricks and and whatnot throughout the years.
We just grind it out where
Exactly. Here we are. Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. 360 right on time as expected. Wow, kind of a crazy aura going on in Wisconsin and Milwaukee and beyond. And just as I put it out on Twitter the other day, I am not a big NBA fan or specifically a Milwaukee Bucks fan. You won't see me necessarily go out and getting a jersey or jumping on the bandwagon.
You were always a Bulls fan growing up.
I was.
Hard not to be in the day, the 80s and 90s with Jordan and Pippen and Kukoc
and I was
Kerr.
a Chicago fan. I was, just as I like the Cubs, I had a tie to the city of Chicago. So that's where I was always a little bit more. And the Bucks, just like the Brewers, never did I hear my dad screaming in excitement for the Bucks. Back in those days, he was always yelling at the AM radio when we were driving somewhere because he was so frustrated from the team. So it was easy to
a lot of down years in Milwaukee in the 80s
exactly.
and 90s.
So to timestamp this, they are going for the finals right now. The
Bucks in
championships
6.
thing.
That's what they're saying. Bucks in 6. That's what everyone wants to say.
Wow.
They're down by 3 right now in the second.
All right. Well, tonight we're going to have a very special guest joining us in just a few moments. Speaking of winning, that's all this guy knows how to do. We're going to have Brian Schweberger. I'm not going to say he's the male side of the most winning disc golfers like we find from an Elaine King, who's so incredible. But I mean,
two sides of a coin.
I guess both hailing from the same neck of the woods, at least in the country,
legends.
And legends of the game. So we're going to have Brian Schweberger join us in just a few moments. We'll probably touch on a few other things. Of course, a little bit quiet in the disc golf world this weekend. There were some A-tiers going on and some events going on, but nothing on the Elite Series or the Silver Series. And we've gotten so spoiled with all of that elite level golf. But we'll briefly touch on a few of the other winners.
We definitely needed this break because we've got 4 straight weeks of top-tier disc golf. DGLO, Preserve, Ledgestone, Idlewild. Like, you can't get a better month. If you're not a Disc Golf Network subscriber, today, sign up today, get your full month's worth, and get all 4 events.
You sound like a shill.
I am.
They don't pay us enough.
No, they don't pay. They don't pay us per subscriber. But I'm just saying, make my job worthwhile.
Well, and go out there and maybe we'll touch on if we hope that the GK footage doesn't drop as everybody's losing their mind over post-production GK footage. But that is in the works, coming from the Celebrity Pro-Am, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But speaking of touching winners, we're going to bring in none other than our brand new and improved Schwebby 300.
He's a machine, folks.
Yes, he is. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be on the show.
Well, we talk about you just about every week, whether you're in the chat and you prompt us or otherwise. We're always talking about you. A huge milestone for both yourself and Elaine recently. Let's start with yours. Break it down. 300 wins and in what fashion and what did it all mean to you? It was recorded briefly, but break it down for us.
As far as the 300th or the total?
The 300, there's these crazy milestones. Everybody talks about 100 and who's in that club. Obviously, a much smaller club in the 200. And then, sometimes there's even names that a lot of our current disc golfers don't recognize, but are legends of the game, of course. But 300, that's obviously a class of your own.
Yeah, it's been a interesting grind in progress, and it's hopefully not ending anytime soon.
No, you're already at 302.
Yeah, we can't even keep up with you.
Yeah, I was kind of gifted that one this weekend. I was not playing well at all, and Ricky Snap just decided to let me have it right there at the end because we were flip-flopping the lead the last 10 holes of the round. So, yeah, the fact that Elaine got there before me, it was just meant to be. I mean, I had a really bad bout with tendonitis that put me out for a month right before I got my 300th, and I couldn't do anything with my right arm at all. So I was just icing it, heating it, icing it, heating it, just trying to get it back. I was about to go to a specialist, and it finally subsided, and thankfully it did, and finally got there.
Were you at that point? Obviously you were talking about maybe going to a specialist, but how much were you thinking about your career? How much are you thinking about, will you be able to throw again? Is this an injury you can recover from, or an ailment? Were you thinking about some of the bigger picture items when you had that injury and you were feeling it?
Absolutely, because I mean I've had tendonitis in the past. I mean I played tennis in Division I college, so I mean tennis elbow was a thing that I dealt with a lot. I knew how to get rid of it, and this bout it didn't go away from the regular things that I was doing, and it definitely weighed on my brain a lot. So it was definitely very close to being something that might have ended this for a little while.
What didn't end is you went on this little heater. You were on kind of a win streak where, I mean, you put together 3, 4, 5, four straight events in a row that you played in. You took them down. Are you feeling in the groove when you show up? I mean, obviously you have a chance to win every single week and you're putting yourself in that position, but are there times where you're showing up to the course and you're like, it's going to take someone else playing really well to beat me because of how I'm feeling?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, right before the pandemic hit I was definitely considering not playing Masters for a bunch of tournaments because I was feeling really confident with my game. And just because, I mean, I had won 16 tournaments in a row right before the pandemic hit. And yeah, nice 3-month break. And yeah, I didn't practice as much as I should have, which is like, I think I threw twice in that 3-month period. So, I mean, it was good for the rest of my body to have that time down. But yeah, it was unfortunate. I shouldn't have played the tournament. I did because I knew I wasn't prepared for it. It was just a 1-round flex start tournament, so anything could have happened. But yeah, we wanted to play more tournaments. I just had to do it.
So what does it feel like? And I feel like you're one of the few people I can legitimately ask this of. What does it feel like when you don't win?
Second sucks.
Okay.
I'd rather finish third than second.
Okay.
Except for USDGC, the one time I did that, I mean, that was a nice $6,000 paycheck. So,
I mean, again, being a favorite, maybe expand a little on what you were just saying about any given event. Are you already predetermined you want to play Open versus Masters, or Masters versus Open, I should say? What goes into that decision, and will you switch at any last moment for any reason?
I mean, if the field has a good enough amount of players in Masters, I much more rather play Masters because it's a lot more fun playing with people my own age. I mean, I've grinded out, I don't know, about 600 Open tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I put in my time there. So I mean, playing with people my own age is so much more fun. You can talk about things that happened back when all the kids that are playing in Open, they would have no clue what you were talking about. Well,
or
you
even
guys are at stage too, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like when I'm sharing a particular disc I have, whether it was Silas Schultz a week or two ago or some other people recently, I'm talking about a disc and they're like, yeah, that disc you're throwing is older than me. And I'm like, yeah, I get it.
That went out of production before I was born, Terry.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I've got a shark in my bag that is older than some of the players I've played with in Open a couple times this year.
Yeah, exactly. So, you've not always, lately in the last few years, you've been pretty local, pretty regional, at least. Maybe regional is a better word than even local. Is that going to continue? Do you see that changing anytime and for any reason as to when you're going to go, when you go to other events that are maybe a little bit longer of a drive or outside of your very close vicinity? Like what impacts those decisions?
I mean, I really don't like to be away from home more than 2 weeks at a time anymore. It's just not as appealing to me
Mm-hmm.
like it used to be. But I maybe in a couple of years when I'm 50, because I'm 48 now. So I was thinking about playing some of the bigger events in MP50 just to get out to some of the old courses that I played back in the early 2000s when I was on tour full time, and get to see some old folks that I haven't seen in a long time, which I'm hopefully going to see a bunch of them at the Masters Worlds in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to my next question. I'm looking at what's on your list for upcoming events on the PDGA. The Masters World Championship starting on Tuesday, August 3rd, and then it doesn't show in you playing really again until September. But lining up all of what's upcoming, it seems like, just as I was saying, Masters Worlds and then a lot of local stuff after that. What maybe it's a little too big of a question, but like, what are you most looking forward to about the World Championships in knowing, how so many of our majors have been postponed or taken away from us in the last year?
Seeing some old friends at Worlds is going to be really nice. But playing Harmon Hills for the first time should be pretty cool. In 2012, Jerry Harmon, we all stayed at the same place in Charlotte for the week and a half that we were there, and unfortunately 2 weeks later he was gone. So to be able to play his course on his old property is going to be pretty special, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list. I just sorted by rating for the Pro Masters Worlds, of which I'm very disappointed. I won't have anything to do with. Johnny won't. That's also going to be the same week as Ledgestone going on, and then I'm not even going to be at all of Ledgestone due to a family wedding. But I see Josh Anthon, Joe Revere, Philo, Johnny McRae, Dave Felberg, MJ, Steve Rico, yourself, Brad Schick, Chris Villa, Kevin McCoy. I mean, when I think about entertaining guys on and off the course, I mean, I think that's exactly what you say about being ready to see them.
That's where GK Pro should go and do a skins match, is with these guys, because you want good sound bites. These are the guys that are going to give it to you. You're not getting Kelvin can be funny at times. He's a great guy. You want some smack talk. These guys know how to do it. They've been doing it for 20 years with each other.
Oh yeah, we'd be relentless.
Yeah, and I think about the young guns in that division. You just talked about being 48. Anthon at most is 40. Philo's on the lower side in the 40s, but McRae, Felberg, Revere, those guys are on the more on your side.
Go ahead and say it. They're older.
No, they're a little bit more on your side. And then Steve Rico, who's all of 40, 41, 42, and MJ, who's 40, 41 maybe at most. I think
73.
It's 43, I think, this year.
Is he? I don't
42
know.
or 43.
I'd say 42 at most. I knew he was a little younger than me.
He's 5 years younger than me.
Okay. So, yeah, that looks incredible, and like a lot of fun as I pan down. What's your take on the Worlds? And we don't have to necessarily rehash the 7 versus 9 versus 4 rounds and that specific argument, but Pro Worlds being 5 rounds this last year with no no final 9, but then like a Junior Worlds, they're back to playing 2 rounds and whatnot. What's perfect for you? How many rounds is this Worlds, and then what's a perfect number for you?
I think the format they have is all right. I'm happy to do 1 round a day. I mean, it's going to be hot. It's August, so even in the mountains of Tennessee, I think it's still going to be pretty warm there. And if it's hilly, which I think the courses are a little bit hilly at least, that's going to be a little bit of a wear and tear on the body if it's too hot.
I was just gonna say, and how playing Harmon Hills will be your first time, right? But are you familiar with any of the? I was just looking for the other courses. Warriors Path State Park. I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, we don't play Warriors. We play the other one. I can't remember the name of it. I haven't played either one of them. I'm getting there on the floor, so I'll have 4 days to practice 2 courses.
All right, Winged Deer, which it looks like I actually did coverage for the U.S. Women's back in 2017.
4 days for 2 courses? What is this? I remember we used to come in like with 2 days to practice 6 courses. It's like, oh, no, I got to hit this one. Oh, but if you make the semis, you're going to have to play this one again. But it's a different modified layout. They're not going to tell you what it is yet. So just play to a couple spots and you'll figure it out. Like, we're so spoiled these days.
Yeah, when I did Am Worlds in '98 back up in y'all's neck of the woods, but it was like 4 or 5 courses, and shoot, I would think I got there maybe 2 days in advance to play.
Yes, things are very different, and I think to maybe belabor that point, Am Worlds, at least when we all played, Am Worlds was almost about collecting courses and how many could you bag in a week, how much golf could you play, because it felt like it was never enough. You were so excited to travel.
2 days.
Right? Yeah, you wanted to do all of that golf. It feels like we've evolved in some ways from that. Should Am still be playing as much golf as possible, or do you think they should mimic the pro schedule?
From all the amateur play I've seen in my neck of the woods here, the Ams love to play more courses.
Yep.
So, I mean, I was the same way back when I was playing amateur for the 6 months that I did. I mean, when I went to Am Worlds, I played a round before the first round, a round in between the first and second round, and then a round after the second round.
Well, that's because you had to practice the course because you didn't get there early enough, so you had to play it for the first time.
Probably why I finished so well there, too.
Yeah. So 300 victories, 302 now.
Was that the B. Cordell Masters Championship? Was that your 300th? I'm looking at, if I'm counting backwards.
Yep.
Tell us about that event specifically.
It was at Arnett Park, which is now called the Brian Cordell Memorial Park, and I hadn't played that course in 20 years. The course had changed a lot. I mean, it's just a classic North Carolina woods, shorter technical course. It's a fun course. I enjoyed it. Didn't play the best, but I've been having a lot of putting issues, and I think I worked it out today out in the backyard. I think I'm going to go away from my straddle that I've been doing for 8 years. It's funny. I won U.S. Masters, and then I switched to a straddle putt after that.
Okay.
Now I'm going to Masters Worlds, and I'm switching to the old standard putt. It's always a work in progress.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, explain that, or somebody might be thinking that's crazy, or why would you move away from a putt you've been doing and successful with for the last 8 years?
I've just been having a lot of nose down issues. Every time the disc is coming out of my hand, the grip is not feeling right. So I switched to more of a shovel putt standard stance, and the nose, it's coming up nose up out of my hand much better and right on target instead of clanking into the front of the basket 3 or 4 times around, which is really annoying.
Yeah. Do you feel like at this stage in disc golf, for you, after all these years of playing, do you almost immediately recognize a challenge for yourself, or an error or a hitch or anything like that? Can you sense and feel that right away, or do you just feel like some days, I'm having an off day?
I can tell when there's something not right. I've always been very critical of everything that I do as far as when I'm playing, and so it's easy to pick up little idiosyncrasies that are just not right. And shoot, when I'm watching video of other people playing, I can say, oh, they missed. I can tell you exactly why they missed. And it just, I mean, sports in every sport I've ever played, I've been very analytical of video and being able to transfer it over and being able to tell somebody what they're doing wrong and fixing it. pretty easily.
So that begs the question, Are you in a position where you either want to or you like to or you are giving lessons, clinics, one-on-one, anything or all of that or none of that?
Once in a while, I don't get approached much for it, but I do when I do lessons. I pretty much only do one-on-one because I don't have the gift of gab. I can. It's easier for me to talk to you one-on-one and not in a group. That's why I rarely do a clinic. If I do a clinic, I'll do the demonstration while somebody else is talking about what I'm doing. So,
Which is funny because of a lot of people, I know you're better one-on-one, which would make me think like Schwebby loves to talk. He's a talker, like all the time. Like I see you interact. You're one of the most friendly people on the course. Yeah, I imagine you talking smack to other people on other holes. Like just you're that kind of. I know you do. I know. It's an imagination because I think I've seen it. But ultimately, it's funny that you say that you're not so much of a group talker as opposed to someone who's obviously very outgoing. It feels like.
Yeah, well, you put a couple beverages. I don't drink beer anymore. It's been almost 4 years since I've had a beer.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that brings out more of a gabbing in me, but that's not good for giving one-on-one lessons. Better.
And speaking of which, someone who you've known for a while and has at least been in your neck of the woods, I think of a Scott Stokely, who's obviously doing lots of clinics and demos. Philip Bartholomew, I think, is a guy now that he's kind of officially brought in under his regime or
Stokely umbrella.
Yeah, under that umbrella.
He's my grandson.
What's that?
He's my grandson.
Oh yeah. Do you see that as like a no-brainer for maybe it's not for yourself, but for some of our other players? Is this something that they should be actively maybe pursuing a little bit more in terms of the lessons and the one-on-one stuff, or is that something you think makes more sense to do after you've kind of semi-retired or you're not playing as much?
I think if they have the ability to properly show somebody how to do it properly, then by all means do it. But there is a such thing as bad practicing and bad teaching. So I mean, if you can't put the form and all that into words to be able to tell them properly how to do it, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you can and you can get good results from the people you're showing, by all means do it. I mean, the more people out there giving the lessons, the better. I mean, it just makes a game better all around for the future.
So here's a couple of generic questions to follow that. Can low rated, I'll say rated, I don't want to say low skilled, although some obviously those usually go hand in hand, but not necessarily. But can a lower rated player A, design courses, and B, can they give good lessons? How do you feel about both of those? Can they design a good course or be a good course designer, and or can they provide good lessons?
As far as the course design goes, that's a very iffy subject, because I mean, it depends on how many courses they've seen. I mean, can they really relate what the property you're using to what they want to design and make good for the masses or for just a certain ability person?
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of things that go into course design as far as that goes. I mean, as far as the lessons go, I mean, like I said, if they can speak well enough about the techniques and be able to, they might not be able to do it themselves, but they know what has to be done, then that it might be all right. But there's a gray line there as far as the ability they're going to be able to do as far as teaching somebody how to play.
I think they can do both. Honestly, you could be a low rated, even low skilled player and still be able to have a sight or an eye for a course. Like you said, maybe you've played 200 courses. Just because you can't hit a line or you can't throw as far doesn't necessarily mean you don't know the course. And as far as giving individual lessons, you could have someone who's a phenomenal driver. We've seen it. People who can throw 500 feet but can't hit a 20-foot putt. So depending on what you're teaching, I think there are definite advantages. We've seen people who are great putters but can throw only throw 300 feet. I mean, you can take things from a lot of different people. I don't necessarily think that the two have to go hand in hand to be a high-rated person to give good advice. I can't cook, but I'll tell you what tastes good.
Okay. And I wasn't necessarily leading anywhere, but I think of our two most prolific course designers being Chuck Kennedy and John Houck, and everyone has either seen or played courses by those guys. And I think about John Houck. Do you have any idea what his rating is, Schwebby? If you had to guess what his skill...
No, I'd put Stan McDaniel on that list as well.
Okay, yeah, Stan McDaniel, sorry, yep. Any idea what Houck?
I would say I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen John Houck throw.
Okay.
So I couldn't tell you what his rating is. I mean, I would probably say, I mean, he's in his mid 60s right now.
Okay.
So I would say probably in the 920 range.
Pretty close.
Actually, we don't know. He hasn't played an event in a ratings era. So
geez. I was looking at the person you had pulled up. I didn't look at the name.
He hasn't played one in a ratings era, so that tells us one thing. But yet is revered as one of the most prolific and established course designers. He's got Frisbee background and obviously, has been playing since the 80s. So I find that interesting. And then I'll go to the opposite end, just as you said, Stan McDaniel. You probably have an idea what his rating is.
Stan is... I don't even know how many sanctioned events Stan's played in the last couple of years. But I'd say Stan's probably in the 960 to 980 range.
Yeah, as of his last update, you're right. I don't see anything on the PDGA since 2016, but then he still is considered to be rated 987. So
yep.
He obviously is a solid player and has PDGA events that date back to 1986, at least on paper, probably even longer than that. And then right in between the two in terms of rating, Chuck Kennedy, rated 913, has never been a far thrower. I think has always been a pretty good putter. And you think about him when you think about course design as well. So I wasn't really trying to go anywhere with that. Those are the three that immediately I think of when I think about course design, and I find it interesting just how much they vary in terms of their play and their skill levels. So anyway.
Absolutely.
So this year, like I said, you've got 6 or 8 events. Do you see anything adding or subtracting or any reason why your tour or your play would expand anything beyond that, or are you pretty locked in for the rest of the year?
This year?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've got, I don't know, like 12 or 13 more tournaments that I've already signed up for, and probably at least 4 or 5 others that just haven't been released on Disc Golf Scene yet.
Okay.
So, there's nothing far traveling. I think Worlds is going to be the furthest I think I go. Okay.
And then I guess a follow-up to that is, do you care about unsanctioned events? Do they even appeal to you? And if so, why or why not?
I'll tell you. 2 weeks ago, I played the Grade 8 in Raleigh.
Okay.
It's the 23rd year of it. First time I'd ever done it. You play 8 courses, bring your own partner doubles, best shot. We started at 5:45 in the morning.
All right, I'm already out. Okay.
And I got through the 7th course, and both my hamstrings cramped up, and my right foot was in a lot of pain, so I had to stop. So my partner Ken Tyberski, he played the last course singles, and he ended up shooting 8 down, and I mean we ended up winning by 23 strokes. Anyways, because we shot 1 perfect round at Kentwood, 1 off a perfect at Buckhorn, and 16 under at the new course Diavolo, and 15 and 14 unders at a couple of the other courses. But that was an experience, man. I couldn't believe that I cramped up. I didn't cramp up. I don't think from lack of hydration, because I felt fine, but that was I think I'd walked like 13 miles at that point. And that was all preparation to try and get ready for Worlds more than anything. Because I mean, 3.5 months ago, I couldn't even have thought of doing that because I'm almost at 40 pounds down since in almost 4 months. So yeah, I'm feeling so much better. My feet thank me for it. My feet really hated me at 293 pounds.
I mean, you're a big, tall dude. I can relate. And yeah, from your feet all the way up to your hips, it all like, trust me, when you start taking off some weight, and when Terry and I start, we'll let you know. But you can just you can keep us informed.
I think you sent it my way. Yeah, that's incredible. So, what do you feel like? Obviously, you talked about cramping up and such, but does your arm get sore? Like, what are some of the thoughts when you're playing that many holes of golf in a day?
I was icing my elbow in between each round.
Okay.
As Ken was driving, I had my elbow in a bag of ice in between each round. That's the preventative I'm doing now ever since that bad case of tendonitis, and I haven't had a single elbow twinge since then. So
Wow.
I'm doing that after every round, and I'm going to continue to do it.
That's the type of tournament where like your partner parks it and you're just like, no, I'm good. I don't need to ace run it. We'll just walk up there. I'm solid. I'll save myself for round 5.
One hole. It was a 350-foot water carry. He put it 10 feet from the basket. I said, yeah, I'm not going to throw.
Exactly. There's no point in risking it at that point. So of course I got to follow and say, you're going to play it again. I mean, you got a title to defend. What is that event for you or no?
For the audio listeners, he's shaking his head no with a big grin on his face.
My goal is to get down to 230 pounds, so that's another 20 more pounds just about. And even at 230 pounds, at 49 years old, what I'll be next year, I just don't see it. That was so much. I mean, I didn't mind the amount of golf, but the wear and tear my legs felt, it just wasn't worth it.
So people are asking on the board, is there anything specific that you're doing? I mean, is it the amount of golf you're playing? What are you doing that you found successful weight loss with?
Well, I mean, I called, I didn't call, but I messaged Sarah Sinclair, and she's a nutrition person, and she got me on the right path. And I've been just micromanaging what I eat, and there's this fitness app that I keep track of everything I eat. You just punch in whatever you're eating, and it tells you exactly how many calories in it, how much fat, how many carbohydrates, and how much protein, and it keeps track of it for me throughout the day, and so I don't have to think about it. So I know exactly how much I can eat before the end of the day. So that's but more than anything, you just have to be accountable for what you're doing. I mean, if you're not accountable, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, because I'm not. Other than disc golf, I'm not active. I mean, and that's part of the program. I mean, you put in your activity level, and and it gives you a calorie amount, how much you can have per day, and it splits it up, and you just go from there, and it's worked absolutely awesome for me. So.
Yeah, and I follow Sarah. I need to follow more of what she's doing, but I definitely see her talking about making sure, of course, she gets her steps in, and everybody should be getting their steps in. That's actually been very public for a long time for a lot of people is the Fitbits and getting your steps in. But then the whole macro counting and divvying things up, and she very much, her program, and you can, I'm sure, expand on it, but. Yeah. Is not just necessarily like not eating certain items. It's just a matter of, obviously portions and then divvying up exactly what it is that you're consuming. But all the time she's like, yeah, I had pizza today. I had a burger today. I had ice cream today. Like she's very much all about that, but it has a lot to do with the actual macros and the counting, as you're saying, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the main reasons I had to do it anyways, I went to the doctor and they told me that I was pre-diabetic. So I was like, diabetic is 6.0 and I was at 5.8. Okay. And so I was like, well, there goes all the carbs. And I mean, I've cut out, I don't need any bread hardly at all anymore. No potatoes. So it's just, I eat a lot of meat. Okay. But no beef. Can't have beef because I have gout. So
Okay. Very different from what we're seeing from Katrina Allen right now.
Yeah,
her
Katrina's on
methodology.
the all meat diet, which
yeah, she's pure carnivore.
she's pure carnivore. It was fun talking to her at the Celebrity Pro-Am, listening to her talk about what she ate that day. Like, I had this kind of steak, or I had this slab of meat, or it's like, wow, like that'd be pricey. I mean, meat ain't cheap.
Yeah, well, either is winning world titles, and I guess that all pays off.
Yeah, certainly.
So, of course, you've been around golf, and arguably more golf than most people on the planet that you've seen, played, or experienced. What were your thoughts, James Conrad, and just the moment, the entire weight of the moment, and how it went down? What were you thinking? You were watching live at home, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was. It was incredible. What's funny is Ashley and I were watching it, and I don't know. He was. They were playing the 17th hole, and she decided to go to bed. And then when it happened on the 18th hole, I just went crazy. I was just screaming my head off in the house. She's like, "Oh my God, what?" Freaking at me. I was like, yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I was so happy for him. He's just such a good person, great player, great ambassador for the sport. Can proudly say that I've beat his tail a few times at some tournaments back when he was still in Virginia a lot. So, but yeah, it was just an amazing, so good for disc golf.
It is. Now, again, Paul won his first Worlds in North Carolina, in Charlotte, and obviously has gone on to be this ambassador and do all these other good things for him and for the sport. You being a competitive guy and you've been there for heartbreak yourself, what part of you also feels for Paul, if any? I mean, are there mixed emotions there?
He's been there. I mean, he's finished second so many times, not in this kind of dramatic fashion. I mean, he played the hole the way you were supposed to play the hole in the situation that he was in. I mean, James was in a terrible spot off the tee. There was no way he was getting to the basket unless he pulled off some crazy roller with a 1 foot step and throw. But I mean, I think anybody in their right mind would have done the same thing he did, letting up on the second shot and then throwing your approach and getting the win. But I mean, who knew James was going to throw in from 247 feet? I mean, it's
no one.
No.
Now, can you? Maybe I'm just looking for more people in my camp, but can you break down your thoughts on Paul then playing it, and would you have suggested anything else other than what Paul did given the situation, playing out that final hole?
No, absolutely not. I think he played it perfect. Okay. I mean, and we can't take away from Katrina's shot. Yep. I mean, that shot had so much pressure and implication on it, and she pulled it off. I mean, it was just an amazing shot that she pulled off. It was just, I knew she'd done it the prior rounds before. Mm-hmm. I mean, she had almost the same style shot. And so she knew what she had to do, and she executed it, put it in bounds, and gave herself a chance to at least tie. And she ended up getting the W, which was just amazing.
Yeah, it's I will continue to call every single person an idiot that says Paul should have tried to, put his second shot on the green. I still see that to this day, people saying that. I think that's absolutely an asinine take on it, because as we said, that's a 1 in 10,000 shot in that situation, 1 in a million.
No. I think it's less than that.
I mean, he can throw in from 247 feet, sure, but given the situation,
I don't think. I think it's about it. I know it's a pressure shot, but I still think it's like probably closer to like 1 in 1,000. Like, just you put that kind of. Now that is extreme pressure that he's not used to at the World Championships. But James is a relatively cool and calm guy. I think you put him in that situation, and he probably puts that in 1 out of 500, 1 out of 1,000. He probably puts a few of them in. Like, just it's hard to say. I wouldn't go 1 in a million, but it is still. I'm still going to call it the best shot in disc golf history. Like
Schwebby, best shot in golf, in disc golf, in pressure packed moments of any sport. Where do you rank that?
Yeah, with all the implications of what had to happen, yeah, it's the best shot in disc golf. I mean, yeah, I don't really think there's anything close, because there's been really good putts that were hit to push stuff into playoffs. I mean,
For sure.
Not a throw in. I mean, it's a field ace from he had to have just a tie.
Yeah, and don't get me started on field ace. That's the newest argument we see running around.
A throw-in from 250 feet at a World Championships that hadn't been played in 2 years, you know, to beat the 5-time world champ when he was from the position he was in. You take all of those ingredients and it equals the best shot ever. Not the most difficult, the best. So I'll stand by that all day.
All right, Schwebby. So there is a little dissension on the board by some jerks named Statmando, and I think they're trying to bring up details. Apparently, even after seeing the celebrity matchups, so Statmando's trying to throw these BS stats at us that I'm 0-10 against you in competitive play.
Now, to be fair, they say they only have statistics from A tiers and above from what...
I always play bad at big events, easy.
Clearly.
You beat Kenosha.
Yeah, good. Thank you. That's what I was just saying.
But that was probably a B tier.
Yeah, that was probably a C tier technically. It was the first year, 2003 Parkside Prairie Open.
Nobody cares.
Oh yeah, we do.
You could probably hit 2003 there on his list right there.
Oh God, let me see when I put you on my list, my official list, the BL.
You might have done that a little earlier in the career, playing against each other.
Yeah, we probably. I mean, if we squared off at like an in-flight or a Great Lakes Open or any of those, something in Kalamazoo, I might have beat you at actually.
I've only played two Great Lake Opens, and they were both at the Monster and the original.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those back in those days. Oh, kids these days don't even realize. So I will ask about that consumption. I know again you're a fan of just overall golf and the network and the Pro Tour. Any takeaways from the Celebrity Pro-Am and what we saw and just the cross promotion and the integration of some like real athletes and celebrities out there?
I thought that was very cool. Can't wait to see some more of the footage. Very jealous of everybody getting to meet Andrew Zimmern. I'm such a fan. I've watched all of his shows since back in the day before anybody knew he played disc golf. He's such a good person, man. And he's had such a crazy life, because I mean he used to have an addiction problem back in the day, and what he's created post that, I mean, is just amazing. He's doing great things.
Yeah, I
great guy too. Like
he is.
I was not. I can't say I was shocked, but all the celebs that we met, I felt were friendly. They were kind. They were generous. They were sat and talked if you wanted to chat with them. You know, you could ask them almost any question about their profession, and they were happy to answer it. It was a real pleasure to be able to have that type of interaction with those celebrities. And let me just say, Andrew, he's a talker. Like that guy, he's a lot of fun, honestly. And I was very impressed with his play. Not necessarily just him playing. Yeah. Having fun that way. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to host a show, you have to have that gift of being able to speak, man.
Yeah, and anytime he spoke in front of the gallery or the crowd or among us all or whatever, there's so much to admire about the way he carries himself, and then obviously that charisma that he possesses. You think, okay, yeah, it's a no-brainer that this guy has hosted or has carried or has put on, exhibition shows.
You. You're muted.
Oh,
no, we're still
you
here.
There?
Do you hear?
Hello?
No, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
I was just saying that once you interact with him, it's easy to see and realize that he's got such charisma, and the way he carries himself to be able to host a show seems like anything but doing that is a waste of his time because he's just so talented in that way. So as we start to wrap up, your fellow 300 clubber in Elaine. Have you guys had conversations or anything leading into these magic milestones?
Is there a photo shoot coming up we can?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about this for a while now, but yeah, I got some. I don't know if y'all have seen the those sports collector cards that Ricky Wysocki had done recently, but the same company reached out to me and we'll be doing some of that for using the shirt that I was wearing, and a couple of my hats will be cut up and put into the cards. So those will be coming out. Not sure when, but they'll be coming out in probably the next few month or so.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
love that.
That's very cool. Were you like Johnny and I? Were you a card collector when you were a kid?
I was. I collected back in the late '80s, early '90s. Yeah, back when Griffey Jr. rookie was the card to have.
Yeah,
got one in that closet over there.
Yeah, the '89 Upper Deck, right?
I've got the Upper Deck factory set sealed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine's not sealed, unfortunately, but I was a dumb kid and I opened it.
Oh, if we would only known. And you're not a disc collector, right? I mean, you're
no. Yeah, hopefully I'll be getting a disc out too with something going on with that. I just gotta trying to get as many as possible. It's not looking like I'm going to be able to get a whole lot of them, but at least 100 of them. Got my buddy Jay Clark. He's working on the artwork, and I'm going to have it sent out and hopefully get it put on like 2 or 3 discs. Definitely a Firebird, probably an AVR, and probably a Rock.
Do you know who's next closest to 300? Do we have any idea?
Barry.
Is it Barry? Okay.
And is he 260, 270?
And he's at 264, 265.
Okay. I was gonna say I thought I remembered seeing him in the 260s earlier in the year, so that makes that makes perfect sense. And I mean, you're someone that could be in his way, or is in his way. Do you guys? I guess how often do you guys actually intersect? Because I know you guys aren't quite in the same neck of the woods.
Was at the tournament I was playing this past weekend. He did a practice round before, because it was 1 round a day tee times on Saturday and Sunday, and so he went to another local course and warmed up, and he was having some heat problems. So he had to drop before the first round even started. He was not feeling good. His little bit of heat sickness that he had, he wasn't going away. So he went and hung out in his RV for a little while, and then he drove home. So yeah, I mean, he looks good though. I mean, it's kind of crazy because he's in really good shape. I mean, he's like 51 now, and he's in way better shape than I am. And the heat just got to him. I mean, it did. He got to me one time last year at that battle for Bedford. I had to drop out of that after playing with Macbeth and Brody the first round. I barely made it through that entire round. I think I had heat stroke really bad, but I was also 40 pounds heavier too, walking through those mountains.
Incredible. And just a touch quick. Yeah, Barry has played in 8 Pro Masters. He hasn't even touched Grands. He's played in 8 Pro Masters events ranging from C tiers to A tiers, including 2 A tiers, and he's 8 for 8 in the Pro Masters division. So clearly, someone, if you two square off, right now it looks like he's obviously your number 1 guy to get past in the Masters division at least.
Absolutely, yeah. And if MJ ever wants to play it, I mean, MJ's still having fun and open. So is Barry. I mean, their games are good enough for it. I mean, I'm just not confident in my ability to cut. If I can't win, it's hard for me to really be realistic. I mean, because not having fun in open like I do in Masters is just so much more fun.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome about the 300, the discs, to commemorate it. Whenever you get them, please put me down for one. I want to make sure that 2 of them. We definitely want to buy a couple off you, because it's it's pretty damn cool milestone. All right, Schwebby, give us some shout outs and your supporters. I know you've got a lot of longtime loyal supporters. Let's hear who's supporting you.
Anybody who on social media who's commented on any of my posts for any of my wins, I really appreciate it. It's good to see people from all over the country and in some cases all over the world who rooting me on. It's definitely been a help to keep going. Got to thank my wife, Ashley. Without her, this would most likely not be possible. Definitely got to thank Innova Champion Discs. This is like 19 years of being sponsored by them. It's had almost the same 7-8 molds in my bag the entire time I've been playing. All my wins are with the KC AVR, every single one of them. So that putter definitely shows that it's a good one. I mean, Kenny won all his titles with the AVR, so why shouldn't I be?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about it, man. It's been a good one so far. Hopefully, we got a bunch more to go.
Is there any void or any help that you would love to get from somewhere within the industry? I mean, every week we're seeing, just today there was the Kickstarter release for, somebody making a disc golf shoe specifically. Is there any help from anywhere in the industry that you could just lob it out there right now of like, oh, I could use a blank sponsor? Is there anything that you'd be looking for? People want to support you more?
New car.
Okay. Go big. Okay. I mean, I think Silas Schultz sold the GP1, but okay.
Oh yeah, man. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm not looking to make a lot of money. If I was looking to make a lot of money, I wouldn't be playing disc golf. I absolutely hate it.
That's a good perspective and very true. Although that's changing now, but you being one of the early grinders and guys on the tour and just one of the purest, most fundamentalists that we've ever had. It's you helped blaze that trail for where we're heading.
Yeah, I'm happy that I was there in the early days of it. I definitely don't regret any part of it. It was such a crazy time back then. Everybody on tour was such a family.
All right. So final question, I swear, is there, the bar's been raised, you continue to raise it, you and Elaine are out there, but is there a win number that's attainable, that's practical and realistic for you in your disc golf career?
I mean, as long as I stay healthy, 400s is definitely attainable. I mean, I play enough tournaments that, I mean, I'm going to keep putting myself out there. I mean, I think the wins will come.
Yeah, I think for 400, I mean, that's averaging about 10 wins over the next 10 years. You're going to do more than probably 10 for the next couple of years. And then as you get older in the division, it's going to get a little harder. So, you're going to have some of these guys, maybe a little bit younger guys than you coming in, but nothing to stop you to going to the 50 plus and dominating that for a few years when you get in there. I mean, these will come for sure.
Oh yeah. I agree. The fact is, I mean, there's just not a lot of players that get into the 40s continue to keep playing. So and especially you get to that point and they just don't want to put in that time and the effort and that I'm putting in, and the tournament play. It's hard to stay tournament tough without playing. So people that just come in a random event and might be playing casual golf, it's just not the same experience. So I think that's where I have a big advantage.
All right. Well, on episode 800, we'll have you on for your 400th win.
It'll continue to be the race. The podcast numbers and the Schwebe wins. We'll have to see how those continue to.
We need a stat Mando graph. Like, 8 years ago when we started, or 7 years ago when we started a podcast, where was Schwebe and where are we going?
Yeah, there you go. Stat Mando, get on it. And I don't even want you pulling up the 6 strokes that I beat Schwebe by in 2003 at Parkside.
Easy.
A career moment for me, mind you, but I'll still take it.
If I stay healthy, it'll be less than 6 years.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
All right, pal. Well, thank you. I say it all the time, and we sincerely mean it. Thank you. You're so often in the chat on Tuesday nights. We know you're watching along with the live on the Disc Golf Network, and your support for just disc golf, even when you're not playing, but your support for disc golf, for all of the entities out there, and for Johnny and myself has been unwavering through all these years. As Johnny said earlier, you're just one of the kindest, gentlest souls, and yet most fun to be around out on the disc golf course, and we all love you for it. So thanks for joining us tonight, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Have fun.
All right.
Have a
Sounds
good night,
good.
man.
See ya. Have a good night.
Bye.
And there you have it. Brian Schweberger,
Mr.
302 as of right now, 302 victories. Just incredible.
I love that we have a Mr. 300 and a Mrs. 300.
Yeah.
Or a Miss 300. I don't know which one you'd call it, but
Dr. 300.
that's true. Doctor
You
300.
refer to her as Doctor, damn it.
Dr. 300.
That's what I
yes.
think she demands all the time, actually. when you
I'm
talk to
sure,
her.
yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
She's so demanding.
Elaine King will excitedly be here in the Milwaukee area, I believe tomorrow or the next day.
Oh, is she with you this weekend? I didn't even look at who was doing commentating.
Yes, she is actually in Michigan right now as the PDGA board is getting together for their first face-to-face meeting in quite some time. I know they meet monthly or a couple times a month even via teleconference type stuff. However, the board is meeting right now in Michigan, and then I believe, I don't know if she's driving or flying over, but she's going to make the jaunt, the 6-hour drive at least, if it is a drive. She'll come over to Milwaukee for the weekend. I believe she's going to be present for Thursday night's Women's Only League. So if you're a woman in the Milwaukee area or you know some woman that should want to come out and be in the presence of the great Elaine, they certainly should, but that's Thursday night. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, both her and Philo will be here doing commentary for the Discraft Great Lakes Open this weekend.
Well, it's 10 o'clock. The third quarter just ended.
Holy cow.
And it's tied 77 up. So the Bucks have one quarter to just score one more point than the Suns, and the championship's coming to Milwaukee.
Wow, incredible. And to also put a little time and date stamp on this overall thing tonight, the last time the Bucks had won was prior to you and I being alive. They had won in 1971.
50 years. It's been.
Yeah, 50 years. So certainly, again, cool. I know the city and downtown area. Your house is about 20-ish, 15 to 20 minutes south of downtown. I live about 20, 25 minutes west of downtown. But absolutely insane
We had people.
atmosphere.
We had people leaving our office early because they were afraid of traffic, and because I work close to downtown. It's probably about 1.5 miles to 2 miles from the Fiserv Forum. I keep wanting to call it Bradley Center, the Fiserv Forum, and they were starting to close off streets downtown. Like if you thought about going through downtown, you just decided no, don't do it. So we had some people leaving early, and some people just wanted to get home to beat the traffic and get whatever. Some people were actually going to the Deer District to hang out with the 65,000 other people outside of the arena. And that's not even inside. The Deer District is phenomenal. It's something that is
set up a deer stand up there.
Yeah. Nope. Not even joking about that. We're not going there. Well, actually, with you, the way you set up a deer stand, it's a little heated thing with a TV or a radio or something, a little cushy. But there's like almost there's 100,000 people downtown right now, and if they win, it's going to be a little chaotic. I can feel it. So Terry will run out of here if they win and go join the party.
Get wild? Nah, probably not. But again,
you'll probably
exciting.
hear the fireworks actually, because
Yes.
I've been hearing them for the last 2 or 3 nights.
Yes, certainly crazy. And our good friend of the show and overall good friend, Johnny Rumble, PDGA 2540. Him and his family are down at the game tonight.
Not surprising.
I'm sure there's
They're
other people
huge
we
Bucks
know,
fans.
but I did have a conversation with him just last night. He's been season ticket holders for a number of years. However, last year, in amidst COVID and everything else, they said to him, hey, we need you to pay up, and we'd like you. I think they even increased the price, and we need you to pay more. And at that point, they're like, nah, we're going to pass. So the timing is for him was a little off.
Yeah.
That this was the 1 year that they passed, but they're at the game tonight. So anyway,
Are they actually at the game, or are
they're
they just
at
gone?
the game. They're not at
Oh,
the Deer District.
okay.
They're inside the actual stadium.
For a reference point, I saw last night courtside tickets, $20K.
That's not bad for a 12-pack.
Level 1, 2,000. Level 2, which is the upper area, and standing room only 1,000.
Wow.
So yeah, that is some prices.
All right. Let's hope that there's not riots, win or lose. But anyway, enough of that. I believe I saw that Emily Garner, who's out on the board, another North Carolinian. Emily, congratulations. She's her and Cody are frequently on the board, but Emily, I saw a picture earlier in the week that she had won, so congrats to you taking down a B tier. It's the first annual Kingston Open. Johnny, let's real quick. Yeah, we're going to go burn a sofa. No, that's not the plan. Real quick, we can touch on a few events that did take place. As we said, no Elite Series or Silver Series, so to speak, but certainly a couple A tiers. We had one going on in the state, the Mad City Open. Wild that there were playoffs in both MPO and in FPO. So they just didn't want to quit after 54 holes in Madison this weekend. We were not present, but I heard there were playoffs in both. So we'll touch on that quickly, and then also the CCR went down. But what'd you see, Johnny?
Let's talk about the Mad City Open real quick. That's out of Madison, Wisconsin. Tournament director, friend of ours, Mike Badka, great guy, owner of Glide. Three-way tie for first place between John Willis II, Dan Schlitter, who we recently had on the show, and Jordan Castro. And based on how I read them off, was how they won. John Willis ends up winning the playoff. I didn't hear about how, if it went one hole or two holes. I can probably look here real quick. I can't look.
No, I know I read it somewhere,
anyway,
but I forget. But I know the FPO playoff.
Anyway, so congratulations to John Willis II. PDGA number 23844. Wins $1,455, round ratings of 1028, 1038, and 1,004. He's a 999 rated player, so taking down the field over some pretty good 1,000 rated players. Greg Barsby, Jordan Castro, Vince Polidori, those are it's a solid field to win. And over at the FPO field, Casey Pennington wins over Barrett White in a playoff. Casey takes home $455 while Barrett takes home $265. Terry, what happened?
I believe this is the abridged version. I believe I saw it was a 4-hole playoff on the FPO side. I have no idea on the men. I don't care about them. But no, I believe it was a 4-hole playoff on the FPO side. Or I transposed those and it was really on the men's side. But either way, both divisions had playoffs, so congratulations to those top finishers. And then over at the CCR that was going down this weekend in a little bit more of a decided fashion, Chanimal looks like he came out on top, Johnny.
He did. 5 strokes over Double G and taking home $1,765. Chandler Fry kicking some hinder. Tristan Tanner in 3rd place. Nathan Queen in 4th place. Luke Taylor in 5th. And then three-way tie for 6th between Joel Freeman, Luke Humphreys, and Willie Prince. Willie Prince is a name we haven't heard this year too much. And
Just wait a few more days.
I know. He's a Michigan guy. He's from Wyoming, Michigan, which is confusing, but he is a Michigan guy. So we'll probably hear from him in the next few weeks at some of these events. He always tends to play pretty well this time of year. Moving over to the FPO field, Kristen Tatar wins.
Barely.
But she squeaked out a 13-stroke victory. I think it came down to the last 2 holes. That would hurt. I'm sorry, Lisa Fakis. I'm just teasing. She wins over Lisa Fakis and Vanessa Van Dyken, who tied for 2nd. In 4th place was Jessica Weiss. 5th place, Deanne Carey and Holly Finley. So some really great golf going on right now.
And I'm just happy that I hope all of them are still alive and didn't have to visit any blood banks. From the pictures that were running around, it seemed like mosquito nets were handed out in the player pack, or should have been. Mosquito nets were running rampant everywhere, and it seemed like that was the minimum attire required over. And it sucks, and I don't want to say that in a to paint it in a negative light. It is what it is because you can't control that stuff usually, but. That was a byproduct of it, but it seemed like the mosquitoes were on maybe another level this last weekend over there. So nice work, though, by our champions.
Yeah, I wonder what we're gonna see at DGLO as far as mosquitoes. I mean, it's hard to say. I know They had a few new holes that were in some woods. I think you can go to UDisc, and they have a description of some of the course changes. It looks like we're getting a few tunnel shots that maybe were not present at the previous years there at the toboggan. So I'm excited to see some new holes. Yeah, and I don't know.
Also, Nate Heinold and crew will be, along with Jamie and others, are going to be your tournament directors for the event. Sounds like there's going to be quite a bit of hype, and I think there's some unique discs and or fresh releases that will be given. I had a number of people reach out to me asking if I could pick them up such and such of the fresh new releases, but as I stated a little while ago, I will not be on site. Instead, I will be with Philo and Elaine back here in the Milwaukee booth. I think we're going to have hopefully some check-ins with Nate Perkins on the ground.
Great.
That's at least what the spreadsheet told me. So
Always trust the spreadsheet, right?
Always trust the spreadsheet. Hopefully that all works out. Some other exciting news. I don't know how much of it I can fully share, but just that it sounds like the release of the Portland Open is going to be the first, and maybe this is old news to some. I was just clarified that the Portland Open will be the first of the video releases with the ESPN2 contract type thing that's happening.
Yeah, we talked about the Portland Open and the tour finale.
Yeah.
And then I think I heard someone post about the Preserve.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go into
sure
all of that, because sometimes I'm the last to know about the media plan that I'm actively involved with.
Well, I think it was Jordan Castro that posted a link to it was a radio website or something that it was saying ESPN is coming to the Preserve. So that's what I'm taking it by.
Well, Simon Lizotte also said that.
So take that with a grain of salt.
Simon Lizotte said that Steady had designed Valley View, and that's not true either. So just because you saw it on the internet. Yeah. Even if I told Simon minutes before that he did not design it. But nonetheless, an easy mix-up nonetheless.
Sure. One other event we can talk about tonight is the 6th annual Midsummer Meltdown presented by Dynamic Discs. Tournament director is Tim Clausen. No surprise, this one's going on in Foley, Alabama. So who takes it home?
Roll Tide.
Mr. Matt Oram. Second place, Michael Gibney. Third place, Sam Lee. Tied for fourth, Jamie Keep. Jamie Keep. Sorry, Jamie. I should know that by now. And Cameron, longest name in disc golf, Cole Glazer. So congratulations to the Open men. And looking at the Open women, Amelia Marshall wins this one by 2 strokes over Anna Pinter. And then as well, Betty Howell-Kennedy and Dee Dee Fussner. So congratulations to the FPO field as well. And I guess he was in the board earlier. I'll mention it. I don't normally talk about ProMaster 40 Plus.
Unless your name's Schwebby.
Unless your name's Schwebby. That's a good point. So, because most of the time, nobody cares about him. Kevin McCoy, congratulations on that win.
Nice work.
How many wins does Kevin McCoy have?
I'm going to say...
I'm going to block it.
About, I would guess around 150-ish.
Oh, close. 139.
Okay.
So.
That sounds about right. All right. Let me double check.
It sounds like Statmando's on the board, and they're going to start doing some searches as to people you actually did play well against.
I mean,
that would be me, but in general, you could put that. Please don't do that.
Again, it all comes down to the era. I mean, the one time one of the few times I cashed out of World Championships, I go back to Flagstaff, which Schwebby unfortunately had to withdraw after jamming up his hand coming off of the Snowball Mountain. I may have tied or beat Johnny McRae, and I think I tied or beat McRae at that Worlds. Like, clearly fast forwarding quite a few years, and so many of these players went on to have illustrious careers, and by that time shortly thereafter I was hanging it up. So I have a few people on a good day or on a good weekend in my prime that I may have gotten past, but clearly those days are long gone.
I always like to say I took down Barella back in the day, so it actually wasn't, I always say it wasn't too long ago, but it was like 2000 and...
At a memorial when he was like 7?
At a memorial when we were playing
Barella
advanced.
He was 9.
I think he was
10.
like 13 or 14, my friend. I was in
And you were towering over him. That's when Burrell was only about 4 feet tall.
I was in my late 20s or early 30s, whatever.
Johnny was towering over him,
whatever.
threatening him.
He could still throw 300 feet further than me.
You got to take the small victories when you can.
If I see him, I will still rub it in. So
as you should.
And I think I beat Zach Melton that weekend too. I think he brought it up one time. I didn't even realize that he was. I think he was so far down now.
I kind of touched on this earlier briefly, and I'll touch on it now. The celebrity pro-am continued coverage or more elaborate coverage is coming from GK Pro. GK Pro, and they did not, I haven't talked to them, but I'm just going to go on, quickly jump on and say they wrapped up Des Moines. A day or two later, we're filming this very kind of chaotic / unique event at Ben's Celebrity Pro-Am. And then a couple days later, had to be in Michigan to do, I believe, men's and women's
CCR.
For the CCR. So I know everybody is freaking their freak and losing their over it, but people, it's on its way. Be patient. Disc Golf Network has interviews and has some recaps. I know they're not every single shot, because if you want to see a 60-foot approach, you're going to see some 60-foot approaches. I know it's only the 2 or 5 or 10% that are very loud on the internet, but today I had my head in my hands because people are just screaming about the GK footage that's not quite out yet.
Well, GK said it was going to be out today, and I understand. And you can say that was predicted a few days ago, and they were hoping to get it out today. And I understand if you're disappointed, but as Terry was saying, these guys are busting their balls, man. Just relax. They'll get it out. As the sidekick says, GK's been killing it lately, hands down. They're doing awesome, and getting to talk with some of those guys at the Pro-Am, because. Funny thing, I met a bunch of people on our own team and on other teams I've never even met before.
Yeah.
I shook hands with Jeff Spring for the first time, I believe, just a few days ago. And we've been working together for years with different things. We just never actually crossed physical paths. But getting to see the GK Pro guys, awesome. And Blaine, my human Steadicam, it was good to stroke his beard. Which I did.
Yeah, you did. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I don't mean to get all triggered on you there, Brian, but it was something I was very passionately thinking earlier today. In fact, on my way here to your house, Johnny, somebody else brought it up for like the 100th time today on Facebook about the coverage. Just simmer. It's going to be out. There is some stuff on the network, so hopefully you subscribe there. And I feel like the network did a really good job of setting expectations, of saying, hey, this isn't going to be live. This is a first-time event. This is an intimate event. There's not going to be, all these things. And I get it. And then the other flip side of all of me getting on a soapbox is saying, hey, we should be flattered. There's so many people that are impatiently dying for coverage to get dropped. So I do feel you from that perspective. And that's also uplifting. But at the same time,
true or false, you paid GK Pro to delete your footage.
No, my question.
Come on.
No.
True or false?
Even though I did tell them, hey, if you want to go follow another card, I wouldn't be offended. I am most interested to see. I just kind of talked to myself because I was mic'd up, so I was found myself.
Did you feel? No, this is an honest question. Because you were mic'd up, did you feel the need to talk more? Like you're.
I just talked to myself.
Okay.
And
you don't usually
I felt
do that
like I was talking to them.
Okay.
Like as if not necessarily as if it would ever get included, but as I'm sitting, I think there's one time someone's lining up a shot. I'm like, oh, please make this so I don't have to walk up this hill. And then I'm like, oh, see, look at even people that are in shape are huffing and puffing walking up this hill. I'm sharing some of those thoughts that normally, if I wasn't mic'd, I would have kept to myself. But I also feel like there may not have been a camera rolling, and if they don't make it, I don't really care. But I did find myself. I felt a need to kind of
verbalize what you were thinking.
Yeah. Okay. And that's because I had.
We have a podcast for that, though. So
I don't know. It's not enough time usually. So we will see what they put together. It's going to be great. I think the biggest challenge, just a little behind the scenes too, is, if I understand it correctly, GK is also getting the footage of the 3 or 4 other cards that were out there, and they're putting together their version of a post-production. So it's not just their normal round footage. They have 2 or 3 other rounds that they have to maneuver through and manipulate and make cohesive. However they're doing it, I don't even know.
What was it? Five groups? No, how many people were there? So
there were 20 of us.
So
divided by 4 is 5 separate cards.
5 separate cards that were covered. So if you're expecting, you might get a full shot by shot of we'll just say Terry's card. You might get that, or you might get some couple holes of them, couple holes, the highlights of some of the holes. This isn't a regular tournament, folks. So I don't know what GK is going to do. I think they're going to do a great job, whatever they're going to do. And whatever they give us, we're just going to smile and say, thank you, GK. Much appreciated. So just remember that. Just say, thank you, GK. Much appreciated. Because this was asked, Simon had released a vlog kind of quickly touching on the weekend, and it really focused on him traveling here, a little bit on the what we were doing out at the local course, and then he didn't have much from the tournament from the Funky Farms, and then he kind of abruptly ended the vlog. I think he was over it. And a lot of people were challenging him and calling him out and saying, "Well, you weren't allowed to film. Spill the beans. What was that?" That was Simon just enjoying the day. So I'm going to share that with you guys now. Just like me, I had bigger aspirations of recording even more than what I did or had recorded. I had a lot of that in mind, and I got caught up in the day of just genuinely enjoying the incredible people and the atmosphere and all of the things that were part of the event. I was caught up in that, and not as much in documenting and recording, and it was just having fun. So if Simon, don't feel like Simon was, some people were accusing him and saying, well, were you somehow stifled or limited or restricted to film stuff? No, we were all encouraged to record and make whatever we wanted. I just think people like Simon and Eagle and a bunch of us, they took it as an opportunity just to have fun.
Yeah. So that's what I can say about that. I know some people were giving him a hard time on his YouTube channel. So
5 minutes to go. Bucks up by 6.
Woo-wee.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
And then, just so someone asked earlier, the game goes back to Phoenix if there's a Game 7. They go back to Phoenix. It does not get played here. Somebody asked if we were going, if it goes to, first of all, I'm not paying that kind of money. Second of all, it's not going to be in this state. What else is going on in Phoenix, though? Hey-yo, segue. Ricky Wysocki and a few others teamed up. The Disc Shack. This is an unpaid advertisement, not fully understood or supported or understood or endorsed by them. But Wysocki and a few others have, he flew back to Arizona shortly after the Funky Farms event, and saw him, I think it's northwest side of the Phoenix metro area. I don't have the exact location in front of me, but he's part of a new pro shop. So congratulations to Ricky and the entire crew. Of course, for many years we've known Spinners on the Green has been incredible. They'll continue to be right there, right off of Vista del Camino, which I think is forever going to be an incredible advantage over any other pro shop that's not literally almost butting up against a course. But nonetheless, we wish them luck. I think Ricky has some financial stake and or support within that pro shop, which is very cool to see.
If the Bucks win, should we have Giannis on the after show?
Yeah. I mean, somebody said we should have had him come down for the Simon Eagle signing, and that we really missed out on that. So, yeah, I feel like, well, let's just get him on the podcast. We'll have a special podcast tomorrow night where we'll just bring him in. We can't promise the time. He said sometime between 8 and 10. So just tune in tomorrow night for Giannis.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I do want to give a quick shout out to two different people, or a person in the group. Liz Borg Bowman.
Yep.
Gave me, and I believe you got one as well. One of these little, I think it's a crocheted octopus.
Take it out. Show them the octopi.
The octopi. I haven't taken it out yet. I don't want to unseal it. It'd be worth more if it's sealed.
I may have rubbed it on me.
Oh, cool. Like my Upper Deck cards that I opened up. Now you made me open this, and
Yep.
It's not worth it. So thank you, Elizabeth. That was very nice. It's a little octopus. It looks.
She handed a couple of them out.
These are very
pretty sweet.
Very cute. Very, very cute. And real quick, Terry had been holding out on me, apparently.
Or I brought it like 6 times to your house and then never walked it in.
Very good. A huge, huge shout out to Dynamic Discs. I can't say enough about them. We've worked with them a lot in the past, and they've always been wonderful. And they gave me the Wisconsin Paratrooper bag.
Boom.
Do you know how excited I am about this?
Yeah, take it out of the. You gonna take it out of the plastic?
You want me to unseal this one too?
Yes.
Why are you trying to
the little backstory
devalue
here?
all my stuff?
Johnny V, when we were within DDO week, was talking about. Of course, the DDO player pack has always been incredible for many years for lots of different cool reasons. And one of the things you specifically had said was how cool you thought that every person on the AM side that had signed up got a bag that had their state flag on it. And so, of course, Wisconsin, I don't think our state flag is all that impressive.
It's got a little crest on it with 2 dudes.
Yeah, it's not as cool as some other state flags, if we're being real. But
I'll be honest.
But nonetheless, Doug and Dynamic Disc very gracious in making sure that you and I both had a Wisconsin state flagged bag.
Awesome. Honestly, I will use it. Because I'm
Yeah.
still using my Revolution bag, which is sitting over there right now. So I will throw discs in there and I will use it. I'm really excited for it.
And quickly, and
I'm not above being bought, which is
No.
what we're here to be bought.
I was just gonna say Jeff Roth out there had showed up to the Simon and Eagle signing and knew that I seek out the Jawbreaker comments from the Ledgestone from a few years ago. So Jeff, thank you very much. I'll say that here, and yes, make sure you stay on top of me so that I can send something your way as a thanks. I do appreciate it. So yes, we can easily be bribed and bought. We are not above that.
Oh, and I want to apologize. Last week we gave away some of the
codes
in the after show, and I have not sent those out yet. You had messaged me. There's 2 of them I need to send out yet. So if you're expecting one of those, I'll get those out to you probably tomorrow. But I just want to make sure that that's known that we have them. I'll send them to you. I just blanked out this week, to be honest. I was very busy. We'll save this more for after show, but we put in an offer on a house. So we're not sure what's going on.
Well, that was going to be my next point. Do we want to have an after show? Because it feels like we'll have very quickly.
Let's wrap it up and get to
an
after show.
All right, guys. Then with that, even though we've been rambling about non-disc golf stuff for a while here,
hey, that bag is disc golf related.
Yeah, good call. What we're going to do is we're going to call it. We're going to have probably a relatively brief after show tonight. So get that keyboard fired up though. If you guys have stuff for us. Get it all fired up and let us know what you're thinking. Maybe there's some questions we can answer or other things that we can go over that are golf or non-disc golf related in the after show. We'll also have a giveaway thanks to our amazing Patreon supporters. So for Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with the Schwebby 300, we appreciate him for joining us. Congrats again to him, along with Elaine King, for both being in that incredible club. Looking forward to seeing plenty of more victories from both of them, and again, we'll keep tracking it along with the overall Smashbox TV podcast graph. Thanks to Statmando and all those guys over there. Stick around; we'll have a little more action for you in the after show. We'll see you then. You step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the Smashbox TV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashboxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 360's After Show.
So, Bucks and Suns.
Yep.
If the Bucks win, do we call Yuli up and rub it in or have him on the show? You know he's watching.
Yeah,
he's
of course.
He's a huge sports fan. He's from Arizona. He's rooting for the Suns.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of fans. 99% of them all bigger fans than me.
And me. I mean, I'm always a fan of home teams. I'm a fan of the Bucks. Usually we get to go to a game every year. I didn't go to any games this year, to be honest, but kind of kept track of them a little bit.
Giannis.
To be honest. But obviously I'm rooting for the Bucks. But I'm not as big of a basketball fan as some. But
well, all right. So here we are in the after show. As always, quick disclaimer. This could be disc golf or non-disc golf related. We invite you to specifically try and interact with us via the YouTube or Facebook or Twitch chat streams. If you got a question for us, we'll be more than happy to address it if we can, or we will totally sidestep it and change directions and move on to something else that we want to talk about. But just about anything is game for the most part. I'm going to lead with something golf-related. Super excited. Talk to both Jeff Hungerford and then subsequently a day or two later, Ray Woodruff. Talked to both of those guys and all dialed and locked in for the Rocky Mountain Women's Disc Golf Championships, an event I've been very near and dear to my heart for the last few years since they graciously invited me there a few years ago. We got Paige Pierce getting an ace, Nicole Johnson getting an ace the last time I was there, in part thanks to Jeff capturing it. Yeah, it's been an incredible event. I think it's one of my favorite events of the entire year. And it only happens every other year. And the work and the energy and the effort that goes on to have caddies for all of the women, to have insane player packs and payouts. I'm just super excited. And then on top of it all, my 10 and 12-year-old daughters are going to be going. They're going to likely play in the one-round portion for them. And then both of them will be doing either media and or setting up some kind of their own wares or vending or whatever they can do to be fully involved. So super excited about it. And then also, if we're going to go with something else in the PDGA world, get those votes in, people.
Get the vote in.
Rock the vote, I think. Can we use that?
We can. Legally, we're allowed to use it.
Because we were old enough to know what that's from MTV.
MTV Rock.
So I think we are legally allowed to use it. They did release some new numbers today, and I wanted to see if I could find them. I know we're below.
It says participation is slowly climbing in the elections. This was this morning, or actually this afternoon. It says 89,983 ballots have been distributed, and 15,887 have been submitted. So 17.66% have been cast. It's not bad.
Okay.
We can do better, though. I'd love to see us get to 25%. I think that would be a good solid number to hit. We've got 11 days left, and I double-checked, and I did submit mine. So
okay.
I voted for you and me.
Good call.
I'm just saying.
Write-ins.
Like, hey, that's how I feel. Everyone knows how I feel. Everyone knows how I feel about write-ins. Love them. Love
them. So please just get out there and vote. I don't care who you vote for. I guess is the best way I could say that. Just that you make a decision and then you vote for somebody. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Someone mentioned there's a couple new discs approved. The Magma from Obsidian Discs Oi, the Badger from Legacy, BB6. Can they do that from Lone Star Molding? Oh, yeah, I suppose BB8.
BB6?
Yeah.
Why? What's the BB8?
A Star Wars thing. BB8. So little R2D2 kind of guy rolls around. Anyway, I was confused for a second. It was BB8. So, and the Passion from Discraft. So, there's a bunch of discs that are released that no one will see because they're sold out already.
Yeah. Also, I think I touched on it briefly. Again, not a paid advertisement by any means, but because I haven't had any conversation with them. But if you were out on at least on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, there was a link to them. The new set of shoes that are available that are being funded right now out on Kickstarter, and I'm gonna, I apologize, I don't remember how to pronounce the name.
IDO?
Maybe.
I think it starts with an I.
IDIO, I think, is how it's spelled. I stand by my statement. I don't remember how to pronounce it. IDIO Syncrasy disc golf shoe. You can find it on Kickstarter. Wow, they're looking for a pledge goal of 119,000. Well, and as I'm watching it, it's going up.
We're talking about it. Of course, it's going up.
Of course, it is. They're now at 41,000. So
it's a pretty good start.
In the opening day, they've received more than a third of what they're looking for.
And I think I read most Kickstarters get their big pushes the first 2 to 3 days, and the last, like 4 to 5 days or something. Like the middle, obviously, you'll pick up subscribers and people, but usually that's when the big pushes are.
Okay, so we'll be excited to see that. We've seen shoe companies get involved and be part of disc golf in various capacities. Can you remember what we saw before Keen? Do you remember who that was, Johnny?
I mean, we saw DD do a shoe.
Yep, they briefly had some shoes, which I think I still have in a box somewhere, never opened.
But before
there was one in
Keen.
particular. I'll give you a hint. Our 12-time world champion was sponsored by them and wore them frequently. Do you remember the name?
I don't.
For 500, Alex, do you remember the name?
I don't remember.
I have at least 6 or 8 pairs in storage of various sizes.
Wow.
So if you need a piece of history and want to buy some, I'd sell. Does anyone on the board remember or know? Hey, we got a couple oldies out there. Yes, Bite.
That's right, Bite shoes.
Bite. I'm
Dion. Of course, it would be you, Dion.
One of the few things I'm not excited that I'm still sitting on inventory of that's older. I'll have to look at the sizes.
I want a 15-year-old pair of shoes, some Bite shoes.
They're mint condition.
I mean, hey, sneakerheads.
Yeah,
just saying.
So yes, Bite was involved. Was Bite bought out by Croc? Is that how that went down? I think Bite was bought out technically by Croc, and then I think the whole project died. And then thanks to a gentleman by the name of Dave, we saw Solomon get involved for some time, and then from Solomon, then we saw Keen get involved, and then of course Adidas Outdoor and Terex had gotten involved with us, and now
Terex is the brand. Sorry.
Yeah, so there's a little history for some of you out there. We're like, what are Crocs?
What are Crocs?
I think Bite was bought out by Crocs, and then I think, unfortunately, I thought they were going to continue to develop, and then then the whole project died from there.
Well, then Crocs hit huge for a while for a lot of people,
sure.
And they're still worn. I still see kids wearing them, and sometimes I see an adult wear them. But when I see an adult wear them, I shake my head at them and think, "What are you thinking?" Except for nurses. Healthcare people, I look at them wearing Crocs because I guess due to the material, it's really good. But anybody else I see wearing Crocs, other than like children, I think that's the decision you made with your life, huh?
I'm just gonna say I've never put a pair on in my life.
Nor have I.
The more I look at them, the more I'm like, that seems like I could get into that. And also that goes hand in hand with me being an intentional. Not anti-trender, but I'm a post-trendy guy. I like stuff once the trend for it has either died or is weaning off.
Waning.
I'm good with it once it's on its way out already. If I want to get involved.
Yeah. Yes, I can see Crocs around a lake, handy. It doesn't matter if you get them wet; you can step in water with them and stuff like. I think there are instances, but I see somebody outside just walking around in them, and I have to think like, okay, maybe you're going to a lake.
All right, we're talking shoes here on the Smashbox. Talking shoes.
Bucks up by 8 with 25 seconds. It looks like it's over.
Deal.
I'm pretty sure it's a sealed deal. Congratulations.
I'm gonna get
to hopefully your 2021 NBA champion Bucks.
I'm gonna get my green and brown and purple.
Yep. Depends what year you want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. To be fair, I was thinking of this earlier today when I was thinking about the teams. I was never a fan. I'm not a fan of yellow. Hence a number one reason why I couldn't get behind the Brewers. Another reason why I couldn't get into the Brewers. Yellow and blue didn't do it for me. The Bucks have been purple and brown colors forever.
Well, they were
colors I don't like.
They were green for a long time,
and green,
and then
all
and
of
then
which
they went,
I don't like.
and then they went to purple, and now they're God. It depends what
I'm
jersey.
such a fickle bitch.
You are a fickle bitch. And then like it depends. Like sometimes they wear their color splash jerseys, and then there's a whole different color, and it's a lot of NBA trying to sell more stuff. Ultimately,
I get that.
So.
I just the color schemes do mean a lot. And resonate with me, and I've never been able to get behind the Bucks colors. Suns colors equally as ugly, if not more. So
like what, purple and
purple and yellow or orange,
gold or whatever.
Yeah, the orange. Yeah. Anyway, yes, I do miss Aqua socks. Don't even get me started on how much that was a trend I was into when I was in 8th grade. You had to have Aqua socks.
Nope, never did.
It's like you had to.
I didn't.
Yeah, well, you also didn't have a guess watch.
I didn't.
Or a swatch watch, I should say.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I've never been a trendy person. I've never tried to chase trends. I've never cared. I've almost always been like a jeans and t-shirt, or for a while slacks and a polo, because that's just what we had to wear at Best Buy a lot, and that's what we wore on the golf course, or shorts and a polo. It's never, I just know at some point, you're going to look back. People are going to look back and laugh at what you wear, which is fine. That it happens to everybody. Similar with haircuts and whatever. It's never been anything. I'm just very simple. I'm a very simple person.
I will clarify. Spock Hauser says Heather Young is disappointed somewhere. I don't mind the color purple. It's usually just purple with most other colors I hate.
What you got against Whoopi Goldberg?
Purple and
Prince?
white.
You hate Prince?
I feel like is kind of Heather's colorway. I can get behind that, purple and white, or just straight up purple. But purple with purple and black, yeah, okay. Purple with any other colors,
not purple and yellow.
No.
Vikings colors, Suns colors. No, we don't fly
No.
that way here.
All right, wow.
9 seconds.
7,
8 points.
That's it. We're calling it for the Bucks.
Yep.
Congratulations to them. All right, those were the two main notes that I had. Were PDGA voting, along with the Rocky Mountain Women's. Anything else crazy happening these days?
Not much.
Go ahead. I was going to say this weekend, upcoming DGLO.
DGLO, we have
changes.
Yep, we had some course changes. I honestly haven't barely looked at them. I saw a picture of one of the holes, which was very much a tunnel shot, which we're not used to seeing at DGLO. The way this one is, it looked like it was downhill, 400 feet. Someone said OB, pretty close to behind the basket. Just a beautiful looking hole in general.
Yeah, I think specifically Jordan Castro had said this has quickly jumped up to being one of his most favorite holes, top 10 holes in disc golf or something of that nature. The wood chipping and whatnot looks very nice as well, the fresh wood chips that are out there. I thought it was Jordan. I want to find exactly how he worded it to give him all the credit. So looking forward to a few of those changes and upgrades and just minor adjustments that they've made out there. Jordan 14 hours ago had said, wow, this might just get added to my top 10 favorite disc golf holes of all time. The brand new hole 5 at the Toboggan in Kensington Metro Park, 480 downhill tunnel with OB behind the basket. So, yeah, and obviously just looking at it, it looks beautiful and yet very daunting and very challenging. So, excited to see how that's going to look this weekend.
Should cause some nice backups.
Probably. It probably.
Some of the best holes always do.
Yeah, unfortunately, just the nature of what they are. So many people love the par 5 out at Northwood, the Northwood Gold, or the Northwood course that we've seen over the last few years, hole 12, that incredibly difficult par 5, but yet it can be an hour backup getting to it. So, Yuli, 5 minutes ago already.
Wow, calling it a little early.
He was calling it, said, congrats, Bucks. Giannis is next. Giannis is next. Wow, what a performance. Giannis is next.
I think just like the next coming of the great player. Like maybe, I don't want to call him the next LeBron because I don't think it's a little different. But, LeBron has an aura about him as well. He is bigger than the sport. And I don't know if Giannis is going to be big in the sport. I don't know if he's going to be big outside of the sport.
me just getting even his first name wrong is funny because I was thinking about the tweet that I made the other day. 2 nights ago, I said, I'm not going to be a bandwagon fan. I said, I couldn't name 2 Bucks players on the team, and I couldn't before I watched a few minutes of the game the other night. I couldn't name 2 Bucks players, and the one that I could name, I couldn't pronounce his name. So it's funny. I was referring to his last name.
I know.
And clearly, I can't even get his first name down. So nonetheless.
Well, him and his brother are both on our team.
And they're on our podcast tomorrow.
Yes, tune in tomorrow for our new NBA podcast.
Clearly, we're well versed in.
We don't chase trends.
No. All right. Let's back up quickly. What was the show last week? I tuned you out for a moment.
Okay.
What was the show last week on Netflix that you said that you thought? I think you said I would like it, but that you said you just got into that you like.
That was a week ago. It was. So I sent you a link.
Okay.
About coffin flops.
Yeah.
It's from that show. It's.
That's the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you should leave.
Okay. That's okay. That's not what I thought it was.
It's a sketch comedy show. If you have the chance, just please go out and Google coffin flops. And just
as silly as it sounds.
It's as silly as it sounds. A lot of the sketch comedy is that way. I laughed at coffin flops almost till I cried. It just because I literally wanted to see more of it. So I'm through the second episode of the season, and I'll probably try to get through more of it in the next, probably tomorrow or something like that. But yeah, so coffin flops. It's exactly what you think, probably.
Yeah, a couple other tidbits. If I'm just rattling off dates, if you're a Milwaukee area person, this will be a little bit more specific, but the 15th annual Germantown Youth Futures Disc Golf Extravaganza, that's going to be happening on August 10th. So that's just a couple weeks from now. 3 weeks from today? 2 weeks? I don't know. That's some math. It's on a Tuesday. We should get done with it in time to still have the podcast, but it's a fun event that's like $3 for your family. Come on out. That's at a little ace run style course in Germantown, Wisconsin. So if you're anywhere in the Milwaukee area, that's a fun event to bring out a family. It's low key and meant to be fun. And then also the 20th of August, I think that's a Saturday, or 20th or 21st. We're talking about if you're in the Kenosha County area, there's going to be a picnic in the park, and we're going to have a little disc golf tie to that as well. So just throwing out a couple Milwaukee-based things. Oh, real quick, sorry.
Go for it.
One other quick thing. Tom McManus not only destroyed everyone he played against this weekend down in Illinois, but another Thomas Earhart destroyed the courses this last weekend. And I know normally we don't jump into a lot of B-tier stuff, but
I was going to say he should get suspended for that usually.
Yeah,
we saw that in the past.
No, I know that he had an incredible day out there. I just wanted to get a quick shout out in there because I was looking at, he played in the Case Jackson Memorial, presented by the Discontinuum Disc Golf Club in Northern Illinois as a B tier for $500. He won by 6, shooting 1044 and 1049. But I thought what was more impressive, or which was crazy, is during round 1. Look at this scorecard, Johnny.
Wow, 16 birdies.
17 because it was a.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was a 19 hole course.
course.
17 birdies, a par, and a bogey.
So he shot 16 under on 19 holes. It was rated 1044. Obviously a little bit easier course there. Then they went to the Gold course where he ended up having 1 eagle. He shot 13 under, but just looking at all those birdies consecutively is insane.
Heck of a weekend.
Yeah, so beating his brother, Brian Earhart, and also in the likes of it, Henry Manahan, who I've covered a number of times as well, along with Aaron Dow. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
That's great. Glenn Reiser asks, any news on USGC coverage this year? None that we can disclose officially. We'll leave it at that.
I know stuff.
Yeah, I've heard rumors.
I've heard stuff about rumors. I know stuff about rumors, but that's right now. That's about as far as we can elaborate.
I think parties are still talking. So take that for what it's worth.
No party like an East Coast party. Okay.
I wanted to talk real quick about Skip Ace.
Oh yeah.
This podcast releases on Thursday, so everyone here is going to get a really early,
juicy
really early information on some updates that we're putting out on the site. I am releasing or announcing a premiere version of the website.
What?
So what the premiere version of the website is going to be doing is it will give you, it's going to be $10 a year. Right now, that's the number we're deciding on. For a 12-month, quote-unquote, subscription. And with that, you get access to a exclusive stats page. So you can maybe help you make some better picks. Maybe help you make some worse picks. I don't know. You're also going to be getting access to picks later. Not right now. The picks will close at 8 p.m. the night before an event. If you're a Premier member, they're going to close at 8 a.m. the day of the event. So you're going to get an extra 12 hours to make your picks.
Dang.
Yep. You're also going to have access. We're doing some things with leagues. So if you run a league or you're part of a league, you can buy little boosts. And if your league gets so many boosts, you'll be able to have access to customizing your league, colors, logos, things like that. Part of the Premier membership also includes, to me, I think this is funny, but a lot of people like this stuff, like flair. So if you're an early subscriber, you're going to get a little token next to your name. If you win an event, you'll get a little token next to your name. If you're, if you log in every day, for 3 months straight, you get a little token next to your name. Things like that. So little flair that everyone will be able to see. Your league, if you get enough boosts, so to speak, you're going to be able to make a custom URL for your league. So if you want to have the discgolfguy.skipace.com, it'll be there for you, along with
Trademark.
like a custom join code. There's one other thing I have on here. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, so those are some of the things that we're going to be opening up probably on Thursday. I think we're gonna open that up, and everyone will get a big email blast. But I'm gonna announce it first here on Smashbox. So if you're listening and you're into the Skip Ace Fantasy Disc Golf, and I'm really excited. I know it sounds silly. I'm really excited for next year because I've already started planning 2022. Whole new formats, like additional, so more ways to play, things like that. It's going to be exciting. So fun stuff. I am very excited for the future of fantasy disc golf in general. And I'm going to try to work with those Statmando guys a little bit. I want to figure out a way to work with them, and we'll maybe work on some things with Skip Ace.
They could run a stat for how many times I forget to log in and make picks.
That's pretty much all the times.
Yeah, I think we're at 98%.
Oh, pretty close.
Running on that. Very cool. Yeah, look for that. And the website again, Johnny, is
skipace.com. You can sign in and log in with any credentials. You can create unique credentials, or you can use your social media credentials. I'm pretty excited about it to be able to. Right now, it's a pretty simple, basic stats page showing you who's been picked, not by whom, but in general. Number. Right now for. Can you guess the number one picked player for the DGLO? And it was at least earlier today when I looked. You have to think, because this is ratings based. So who's going to probably give people the best chance to get points based on their rating?
James Conrad's not rated probably quite as high.
He was on the list. I think he was like 10th or 8th.
Willie Prince should be.
He should be. He's not a name that people know, so
Yep.
But he's not on that list.
You would think Macbeth or Eagle as the 18
Macbeth
under,
was number 2,
and Eagle, has 1.
I didn't see Eagle on the list, but I don't recall the full list.
Simon Lizotte, depending on where his rating is at, might be a good value pick. And he's back and playing.
Someone mentioned it on the board.
A KJ USA, you have to always be thinking of doing well out there. Calvin Heimberg,
Brody Smith.
I was gonna say that. I was trying to think of anyone that wasn't necessarily gonna be him.
He's just over 1,000 rated. He has potential to do very well.
Sure.
He also has potential. He's I don't say boom or bust, but when it comes to fantasy, he is, because he could perform very well and get you good points at a low rating, and he probably has a pretty high floor where he's not going to take 70th or 80th. Mm-hmm. He's going to probably, worst case, he's going to probably take 40th to 30th.
Sure.
So he is the number 1 pick right now, beating up Paul Macbeth by 1 pick. Paul Macbeth is number 2. So It's so if you're a Premier member, you're going to be able to see some of that. Some of the advantages that gives you is you're going to be able to see who a lot of other people pick, and you can either go with the flow and think, oh, I didn't think of that guy, or go against the grain, hoping you can get better points by picking somebody that's not been picked. You're going to get those insider stats with this, and I'm looking at already expanding the stats page. Right now, we just have a few little ones, but I've already got a bunch of ideas, and it's just a matter of time now. But we wanted to get it out there for you.
Okay. Unrelated. Well, we'll talk about ceilings for a moment. As soon as you reached that 7-foot mark when you were like 9 years old, I know your hopes and dreams of
being a pilot,
pilot or astronaut were crushed
out the door.
But any takeaways from the Blue Origin mission today?
No, honestly, I barely saw anything about it. I heard they did a press conference beforehand, but I did not really follow that at all. So I'm gonna have to follow up on that.
Okay, I saw them doing a recap shortly thereafter. I did not realize how short the overall flight was. I think was it 13 minutes?
They're pretty short.
Is that what I think I saw? 13 minutes. A lot of course, very cool for a lot of reasons. And some people think very wasteful for a lot of reasons, and wherever your politics and your personal stance, I'm sure there's everything in between. But nonetheless, certainly an historic event that also, you could say, got time-stamped here today on July 20th. All right. Brody's always a threat to hit a field ace. Yeah, there's lots of options out there. Thank you, Dust Esports. We appreciate the super chat. I didn't know if Johnny turned it on, but it looks like he did. So thank you.
I did turn on the super chat.
Thank you. We do appreciate that. All right.
Daddy Disc Golf asks, what's a field ace? And that's a great question. A field ace traditionally has been a more or less a longer throw-in, something about the equivalent of a hole, maybe anywhere from, I'd say anything longer than 200 to 250 back to whatever. And that's kind of the big debate, is whether or not we want to call it a field ace. Because where do you draw that line? Is 180 feet a field ace?
No, I don't think that's the debate. I don't think the distance.
No,
I think the term ace
the term, and that's the problem, is that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that an ace is quote unquote
tee to
pin, and that's not what this. That's not what this is. To me, what would be kind of interesting to be called like a field ace is a very, very rare occurrence, an ace on a re-tee. That to me would be like, oh, that's a field ace. Like, I could see that being considered. Like, if I were to pick, if I had my way, so to speak.
So, like, just use hole 16 as an example, but go on. Hole 16 at the fort, you go be on your tee shot, and let's say instead of going down to the drop zone, you want to re-tee. You're going to tin cup philosophy.
Sure.
And you're saying you throw it in
8
from
at Maple
there.
Hill, hole 16 at
Okay,
DGLO.
but you throw it in because you've re-teed.
You've re-teed.
That's where you'd use.
That's where I think that would be a better term for field ace. Like, oh, that was a field ace. It's not a real ace, but it's still tee to pin. I could see that being called a field ace. Now, I know that's not what it is, so don't get on my case. But if I were to make up a definition for it right now on the spot, that would be the definition I would use. But the traditional definition, as you and I know it, is more or less a throw-in on like a par 4 or anything like that, where you're in the field. I mean, if you hit first available on a 380-foot shot, or even a 330-foot hole, and you're 300 out, you put it in for a 2, that would be considered a field ace.
I know, and
there's no good definition.
There's really not, and it's funny how worked up people have gotten about it, and there's something about our naming or traditions or nomenclature. Because I think of, let's just all visualize for a moment, hole 7 at Maple Hill.
Yeah, that's the water hole.
Hole 8 is.
Oh, hole 8.
I'm
Okay,
saying
I was right
7.
the first time.
Yeah, you were. But I'm saying go to hole 7. Tunnel shot, 380 or 390 or 360, up 370 maybe, uphill, shortly to the right, just bare right hand finish to it. You hit first available, as you're saying. You've got 330, 340. You're pinched off to the right or to the left because you hit one of the first available, and you throw it in from there. It is far from a field ace in terms of your overall actual surroundings.
Yep.
You were in a tight wooded gap, or you maybe even created a new gap off to the left or right, and you've thrown it in for the 2. It feels weird to call that a field ace, even though it might be 330 uphill and a tough shot. It would feel weird, but if you put that in the exact same situation out in the middle of a more open hole, you'd be like, oh yeah, they got a field ace from there. So it's weird that we use the terminology. I'm just, before people get way too mad about it, guess what? Patent pendings really aren't patent pending. All right, people? So there's...
You don't know that. I may have patent pended that.
The patent pending stance, Barry nor Kenny or any of those guys own that or have submitted their paperwork, even to Sunstein. They're really not patent pending. So is it worth getting fired up about? I guess if you want to. I can understand the debate to some degree, but at the same time, man, people are...
Yeah, and I understand people get upset at the word ace. Ace
Correct.
means ace is a one.
I agree. I totally get that. And that's just it. It's a funny term. You know what else are funny terms though? Heiser.
Mm-hmm.
Anheuser. That's not spelled like the beer. You know how many hundreds, if not thousands, of times I've had to describe Heiser and Anheuser to people, and the first thing, like the beer, which is a fair question. Mm-hmm. But to like everyone else outside of our sport, it sounds crazy because they're hook and slice, but they're Anheuser and...
But even to a golfer, they might know what hook and slice is. I don't know what a hook is.
Sure.
I mean, I do, but like you're hooking it this way. I wouldn't know what a hook, which direction is versus a slice. And so I get it, Jargon.
Anyway.
Sports jargon. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Plasters. the MLG highlights. I don't even know what ML...
Major League Gaming, I think.
I don't know what that is. Okay.
Someone said, so Conrad's throwing wasn't a field ace. It was. I mean, again, throw your definition out there. What is...
It clearly wasn't an ace. I mean, for God's sakes, it was him throwing it in for a 3 for what was only a birdie. So by absolute definition...
Should be called a field birdie?
Yeah, and I don't know where or how the term started. It's a funny one. I understand that it doesn't make a ton of sense. And I'm not necessarily just blindly defending it. I agree. It sounds and looks goofy. It's a term we've used for a long time. I don't know. Maybe we need to nix it from the disc golf jargon dictionary.
Well, that's it. From this point on, we will not use the term field ace. I don't know if we've ever used it before on this podcast in general, but we're not going to use it again.
Ace Run. Hey, Ace Run, I apologize. I think earlier, I don't know if you sent it to Johnny.
They did. They sent it to me, and I didn't get a chance. So because we brought Schwebi on right away, I didn't want to do it. So
yeah.
we're gonna show that next week. They have a 1-disc 1-tip for us. So I promise we'll get to that next week because they did send it to me.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. I know you guys have been out there hustling around for the last few weeks, getting a ton of coverage. I'll just quickly throw out, and I hate to put myself on the hook for it, but
do it. I
will put myself out there and let you guys know I've got some bonus coverage that's either edited or being edited, or it's somewhere in the queues, and that includes Silver Cup, an A tier here in Wisconsin. That's actually completely edited for rounds 2 and 3 that we captured, and it just needs commentary. So those are edited thanks to Visual Eclipse and John and Dylan. And then I also, thanks to a lot of those guys, we captured action from the Majestic. Those are 2 rounds of 27, which are always kind of a goofy edit, but 2 rounds of 27 from the Majestic is somewhere in the queue. I have other stuff in the queue that can be put together too, other bonus footage as well. I still have some Waco stuff. I may just save that till the end of the year at this point. I've got Waco bonus footage and some other bonus footage. So stuff's going to slowly continue to roll out. I want to strategically place it when nothing else is being released. So just know, and my Skyline Classic is, I think that's almost fully edited actually. And that will get released on a slow rainy day.
Ace Friend said they just uploaded another one for us even. That's fantastic. Hopefully a second one. I'm really under the, if I would have been thinking about it right away, I would have played it immediately after the Schwebi interview, but I hate to play those things at the very end of a podcast. I like to put them in the middle as a nice buffer because I think it's a nice breather. People can sit and watch it, and it's not, I feel like if it's at the very end of the show, it's like an afterthought. I don't ever want to do that because these guys put in a ton of work to these things. So I always want to make sure that it gives its proper respect. So I will make a big note of that.
All right. Reading a few more things. Darren asks a great question. Bigger deal in Milwaukee, Giannis and the Bucks, or Rodgers wanting out?
Giannis. For at least the next week.
Yeah, I was just going to say it'll be short-lived because, the football season. For now, just with the timing, it is what it is. The Bucks obviously are going to.
They'll dominate the news cycle, and I mean, if Rodgers leaves, he leaves. It would suck. I'd hate it, but I mean, clearly he's got issues with. Sounds like he has issues with the management. We'll see. That's all rumors at this point. No one's really officially said anything. It's all been off the record, but.
Ray S. We still want the booth video from the Holy Shot, Terry's official cut.
There is no booth video.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're kind of mixing things there. There is no booth shot because we didn't have a camera. There's no camera on the booth.
We don't
specifically recording the booth.
Correct.
During the broadcast. I have a personal shot where I was standing right at like the 3 o'clock position if Conrad's lining up his shot. I'm at the 1 meter circle, circle 1, 10 meter circle, just off to the right at 3 o'clock, and almost perfectly, with a very short lens, I just follow with my camera as I'm displaying to you guys. I just follow with my little camera the shot. I have not put that anywhere on the internets yet, so I will certainly be releasing that at some point. So those are two different things right now. Terry is going to use this as a reason to pound a backwoods bastard. No, but I'm excited for those to get back into season. I'll admit that.
Natural grass, AstroTurf, rubber, or pavers? What do you like better for teeing off of?
Oh, that's for teeing. I thought you were talking about me playing pickleball on.
Oh, I don't know.
Pavers are no good. Pavers suck, usually. And let me say this. They don't always suck, but often they can be slippery, and more so if they are not in the most professional way installed, there's a great chance for them to buckle, for them to sink and to maneuver, and then I feel like more often than not, then they get slippery from just wear and tear. I've yet to see pavers withstand the test of time. They might look and feel great initially, and I feel like they're always going to be a problem later on. So for that reason, I'm out on pavers. I like concrete the best personally. I know a Kevin Jones or a Paul Macbeth or a Cat or a Page. Some of our elite players may all argue otherwise, that they say after many years of pulling through and ripping through on the concrete, that's going to tear up and destroy their knees or their legs. Seth Muncy would maybe even say the same from Disc Golf Strong. For as little as I play, concrete's great, and it has been great. If I did this for a living and played as many rounds of golf as all of those guys did and threw with the velocity and with the strength and whatnot, then maybe I'd feel differently. But I personally love concrete. So I guess that kind of leaves like either the rubberish pads and or the right kind of AstroTurf, I think would be the winner for a lot of our players. But those are so crucial to how they react to water. Some of those are porous, some of those aren't. They have to have the right length. I think we saw in Portland that some people were frustrated that the length was a little too high on that AstroTurf, so it has to be smaller. But yet, I know you can get, sometimes sand gets involved and can be an aid. There's a lot of things that go into all of those. They all require a ton of prep work, though, because if they're done sloppily, if that's the word,
you've got problems.
You're going to have long-term problems.
It feels like ideal conditions, a well-done turf is the best.
Sure.
But the problem therein lies, like you said, if turf gets wet, sometimes it can be a little slick. If I had to pick something that I wanted to play on all the time, rain or shine or anything, I probably got to go concrete. Just because it seems like you're usually not getting ice on concrete.
Mm-hmm.
If it's rainy, the concrete's probably pretty good. And even if it's old concrete and it's kind of worn down, I can put a towel down as we've seen a lot of our players do, and that'll stick to the concrete. It usually won't slip.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to putting a towel down on turf, you're looking at a surfboard. So overall, but it's not necessarily again, like you and I say, it's probably not best for our knees, hips, and whatever else joints we have. But for the little that I play and the little that you play, that seems like the overall best type of teeing surface. But
yeah, I've always loved concrete. But again, I don't. Last time I checked, anyway, I don't pull through like a like a Kelvin Heimberg or a Paul Macbeth.
What does Kelvin even know? That guy's foot is in 4 directions.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, my ideal tee pad has always been concrete. And again, concrete's also generally, if they're brushed, I think is the term.
Yep.
If they're brushed the right way and perfectly, then they will likely have the best overall lifespan too, as opposed to some of the other options that we just talked about. So you have to think about
least amount of maintenance as well, usually.
Yeah, exactly. All right, somebody asked again about the shoes, the IDEO shoes that are out there.
Rhymes with video is what someone said. And I just got to believe what these people tell me.
They are doing a Kickstarter that opened today, so I'm going to guess that there are no pairs available, and they're not necessarily sending out shoes or doing anything or selling any of them. It sounds like they're very much still in the development stages. So
sounds like Darren LeMay says he might have a pair. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few people out there. A Sexton had a pair. They sent him a pair of the prototypes. So we'll see.
I am excited, to see and hear about them and see if it comes to fruition, because literally every day on Facebook, every single day, somebody posts in one of the groups, "Hey guys, what's the best shoe for disc golf?" And then that's the equivalent of saying like, "Hey guys, what's your favorite color?" It's right there with it. And of course, there are pros and cons to shoes, but also the way everyone throws and the wear and tear and where you play and how you play completely dictate what the best shoe is going to be for you. So, yeah, it's right there with what's your favorite color and why. And some shoes are just flat out bad. I get it, but yeah. All right, Johnny. I don't know that I have a heck of a lot more. The quick other timestamps you should give tonight. You alluded to it earlier. You've done you've done some negotiating. We'll see if it comes to fruition.
We put an offer in on a house about 20 minutes north of here. So the house has been on the market surprisingly for a little while yet. It's been on the market for about 3 months, and we've been doing some negotiating with the couple that owns it, or technically with their agent. And I don't know. I've told my wife. I said I don't fall in love with it. It's a great house. I love it. My wife loves it. Whatever. But I love it at a price. To me, there are things with that house that I don't necessarily love. The garage it's called a 2-car garage, but it's not a 2-car if you have a Jeep Grand Cherokee. That becomes like a 1.5-car garage at that point. So we've been back and forth, and I think we gave our final offer as to about how high we're willing to go, and we'll see now what's in their court. And hopefully I'll find out tomorrow whether or not we are going to be going to Smashbox Studios. What would be like 3.0 technically? 2.0 was maybe when we were on that wall in the basement. Then we moved to the other wall, and now we're over here. So maybe we'll consider that 3.0, but location 2.0. We'll see how that works. If we get it, great. If we don't, we'll just move on and look for a different place.
Tim asked if it's farther away from me. It will likely take me a little longer to get there.
Probably extra 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, probably at least. Yeah, probably. Oh, yeah, if you're going to be way over there. Yeah, at least 10 minutes longer.
I didn't know if you'd go up through Lannon and if that would be quicker.
Across Brown Deer Road, possibly. But, yeah.
And I've always told Terry he's more than welcome to do it from his house.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Ooh.
Yeah, you heard MTV Cribs is back.
That's right. I'll be doing a tour with all my cars and the backyard. I've actually already reached out to a disc golfer here locally that if we do end up getting the house, we're going to probably immediately put in like some sort of pavered patio. So Jason Sanfilippo, who does a lot of that stuff, who's a really, really great guy, and he does some really great work from what I've seen online. We've already reached out to him to say, hey, Like, if we can get in, it'll be probably around September. Let's make it happen. but we'll see for now. I don't know. Again, I'm not getting my hopes up because it doesn't really matter to me.
Okay. How close are you guys to the arena right now? Yeah, that's downtown Milwaukee, which is it's 15 minutes at most. If
6 miles, maybe.
Yeah, if you had no traffic, yeah, I'd be curious to know the exact mileage. But 15 minutes in no traffic. Tonight they had shut down copious amounts of ramps and streets around the Milwaukee area just to get ready for the chaos.
Oh, it says 32 minutes because it's by bike. I got a new bike too, by the way.
Okay.
That was great. So by driving, 14 minutes, 7 miles. If we not as the crow flies, but basically
biking showed almost exactly 6 miles. So
6 miles if you go kind of straight towards the stadium.
Yeah. So there you go.
I bought a new electric bike. I love it. An e-bike, like I put this on Twitter. It's like a cheat code for hills. It's phenomenal. I love to bike. It's one of my favorite things. I don't get to do it enough, but to me, throwing my headphones on, putting a helmet on, and just riding around for 45 minutes to an hour, whether I'm like busting my ass and breaking a sweat, or I'm just leisurely cruising around, this is great. I love it. And ultimately,
do you pedal?
Yeah, you still have to pedal. They have different versions of e-bikes.
Give me the model number. I want to look this up.
There's a throttle version, which I didn't get, where you don't need to pedal, and then there's pedal assist, which I feel is what Lance Armstrong cheated on.
Oh.
It's a pedal assist. It's made by
Schwinn.
No, it's a company that
Huffy.
It's a company
Murphy.
It's a company you've never heard of. I can't believe I'm blanking out. It's the second bike I've bought from them. A Priority Bikes.
Oh, didn't make that a priority.
Priority Bikes. So I bought an e-bike. I love it. I mainly bought it because my daughter loves to bike, and she can't bike due to her disability, so she gets towed behind me. And as of last year, she's too heavy. Like, she's a 9-year-old, weighs like 100 pounds, and going up and downhill, going up hills, not downhills. Downhills are fun. Going up hills, not so fun. But I took a really steep hill near my house, and I put it on the highest pedal assist. There's 5 different levels. Mm-hmm. It was like I was almost going flat to slightly downhill as I'm going up a pretty steep hill. It's super nice to be able to just pedal at leisure and be able to get it. So I'm going to throw her on the back now, and we'll be able to cruise around for a while without me having to call my wife and we're 4 miles away and say, come pick up your daughter, because I cannot make it home, which I had to do last year as I just gave up. So I'm really excited.
Okay, Lance. All right, guys, we are going to call it. We appreciate you for tuning in tonight. Earlier, of course, thanks to one of our favorite Smashies in Brian Schweberger. Thanks, Statmando, and so many others that chimed in with a few additional insights and tidbits. Darren LeMay, we haven't seen you much out here, but we always appreciate when you're here. And Dust for the super chat, and Glenn, all of you guys. I'm not going to read every one of your names, but most of you guys are awesome. Oh, we need a giveaway.
I was about to say, should we give something away before you close the show?
Tyler says, I won a disc signed by Terry at my local tournament in Colorado called the Birdies for Bob. Do you know what kind of disc it is? Can't figure it out. Ha-ha. I think it had my logo on it, and it's probably the Icon, which is like star-like plastic, and I don't recall which model it is, but it's probably a Legacy Rival, if I had to guess. If you wanted to send me a picture, I could clarify. Or if you look on the back and give me the abbreviation, if it's like RIV, it's a Rival. I don't remember that, or an Enemy maybe. But yeah, lots of I've got, I guess, discs by a lot of them. I did order a bunch of the James Conrad commemorative discs today by MVP.
I would like one
from
you.
They're about to get jacked up in prices. Jacked up. Hannah Macbeth out on the board. Can't wait to listen to you tomorrow, she says. Well, that makes one of us, Hannah.
How is she going to listen to you tomorrow?
I don't know. I think she's just seeing that the podcast is wrapping up, and so she's going to go back and listen. Most people listen to it in like 1.5 or 1.7 speed.
I figured they listen to it like 0.5 because they want
that's what
more
she
of
does.
us. Yeah,
that's what
that,
Hannah
that
does.
makes way more sense.
She wants more of it.
All right, so
we got a giveaway.
We do have a giveaway. Let me make sure that I didn't accidentally just sort.
And yes, I did. Order from MVP. The dealers were allowed to purchase some of the new Nomads, as well as some of the commemorative stamped Envies. And I did pick up some of those, and also the new Hex by
Great.
MVP. Not a paid commercial, but I'd take it, MVP.
After James hit that shot, I did message MVP Steve. I said, "You better send me one of those discs."
Yeah,
and he didn't really respond to that. So, but we did have a good conversation afterwards. So I'll just have to get one from you instead of getting a freebie giveaway. Hey, look, MVP DD gives me free stuff.
Yeah,
you don't want to buy my love?
Buy us out.
I am not above being bought.
Oh, Hannah, I need some party podcast discs too. I need
mine. If I get this new house, MVP, I'm going to need some black holes. I mean, just a few of them in the backyard. It's got a really big backyard. It's the one thing we really do like about it, but whatever. So, we'll see.
All right, here's our free giveaway coming to you guys tonight.
199 people are eligible for this giveaway, Terry.
All right. Well, we had on the regular show Brian Schweberger, 302 wins.
So our third, 3.
Sure. We'll go with
I'm
that.
not doing it 302 times, regardless of what you may think. And it's sorted by first name tonight. We're going simple. So our first number is 28. Our second number is 34. Our third number is 75. So I scroll up to 75 because I
starts with an M.
No, it starts with an H.
Ooh,
yeah, it is Herbert Monholland. Congratulations, Herbert Monholland.
Not Frederico
Sorensen.
Sorry, Frederico.
Herbert Monholland. So thank you very much, Herbert. We'll be in contact. We've got your email. I'll send it to Terry. Terry will get in contact with you to get a disc. So congratulations, Herbert.
Yes. Thank you, Herbert.
And thanks for everybody for being a Patreon supporter. Honestly, it's it as I say every couple of weeks, it means a lot to us. It's one of the reasons we can continue to do this and every week, and we want to do it. We enjoy it.
Well, some days I don't enjoy you.
That's fine. You don't have to enjoy me, but you have to enjoy the podcast.
I'll fake it. All right, guys. Seriously, we do.
Not going to make a joke.
We do appreciate you guys tuning in every single Tuesday, occasionally on Wednesdays when our weeks get crazy. But thank you guys for joining us, and of course, thank you for joining us for the after show with our constant ramblings of just about anything and everything. The Garners, congratulations again to Emily on her big win this last weekend. Galactic, you missed it all, but guess what? Go back. You and Hannah listen to it at half speed and then compare your notes. Also, she can bring it to the party podcast. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and from the city of Milwaukee, your world champion basketball teams out of little Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We'll see you next week for Podcast 361. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smash Box.